Hey guys, as the year comes to an end and a new year is beginning, I wanted to discuss some of my most anticipated updates in RuneScape 3 for 2020. Overall, 2019 has been a pretty good year for RuneScape. It had the mining and smithing rework in early 2019, Elite Dungeon 3, Anachronia, and also the 120 Herblore and farming update, and much more. Looking back on it, there were some really great updates, and this gets me really excited to see what 2020 has in store for RuneScape 3. So in this video, I have 5 key updates that I really would like to see in 2020, and most of them have been promised from RuneFest. So the first update, so 5th on the list, is RuneScape 3 Mobile, and specifically the iOS version, because this has already been released for Android. But as an Apple user myself, I have still been waiting for the game to finally be playable on an iOS device, and this has been promised at RuneFest, so we should expect RuneScape 3 Mobile for iOS devices sometime in 2020. I'm not sure how much I would actually play RuneScape on my phone, but just having the ability to check it on the go or do some AFK skills while I'm away from my computer, I think it would be really useful. And for all you Android users watching this video and people who already play RuneScape 3 Mobile, I would like to know how much you guys find RuneScape Mobile useful and how much you actually play it, because I am genuinely curious to see how much RuneScape is played on mobile already. I am also hoping that once it is released on iOS, we will get many new players that can help boost our current player base. For my 4th most anticipated update, I would really like to see a construction rework. So there has been some discussion about this update, although I don't think anything has been done about it. It hasn't been mentioned in RuneFest, so we are unsure if we will see this update in the future, but who knows? I think this update would be a really great one to have, because currently the construction skill, it is pretty useless and is also extremely boring. I know when I trained it to 99, I used 10,000 to 20,000 planks to make pawnbrokers over and over again, and it was definitely not very fun. It would be great if they could somehow make a more interactive way of gaining XP with the skill, or at least give players different things to build to gain XP, rather than having one method that is by far the best XP per hour. Some ideas that I had of how they could improve construction is maybe reworking it to a 120 skill, adding much more useful content, things like being able to build a boss portal room, an exchange booth, quick teleports to useful locations. Things like these I think would really add a useful aspect to the skill of construction. And essentially just adding more useful content with the skill would make it a useful skill again. 3rd on my list is adding new Slayer creatures, or possibly even a bit of a Slayer rework. I have been doing a lot of Slayer recently with my Road to 120 Slayer series, and something that I have began to notice is that there are 3 or 4 tasks that are much better XP per hour than others, and all of them seem to be newer creatures like dinosaurs, vile blooms, lost grove creatures. These are all some of the best tasks in my opinion, and I would really like to see a Slayer rework where older Slayer creatures like dark beasts, Aruts, and a few of those other older Slayer creatures get a little bit higher XP per kill, or at least just add more high-level creatures that give a few thousand XP per kill, like the dinosaurs, vile blooms, and lost grove creatures. Even with corrupted creatures and soul devourers, their XP per kill is much lower than newer creatures. It is usually around 500 to 700 XP per kill, compared to dinosaurs and vile blooms, which are at 1500 to 3000 XP per kill. Although they are less AFK and take a bit longer to kill, but overall, I would just really like to see some new high-level Slayer creatures just to mix things up and provide me with some new content for my Road to 120 Slayer series. This update has not been announced or even discussed in RuneFest or anything, so it is pretty unlikely that we will see this in 2020, but I hope we at least see some new Slayer creatures. For the 2nd most anticipated update in 2020, for me it would have to be Archaeology. So this is the new skill that was planned to be released for January 2020, although it has been announced that it will be delayed a bit. But this skill, for me, it looks really interesting. It seems like a mix between mining, dungeoneering, and invention, and as a max player, I am also pretty excited to have another skill to grind out again and just try all the new fresh content. And developers have been working on this for at least a year or two now, so I am anticipating that it will be a really polished skill with lots of new content, so I am really excited to try it all out. Also, the rewards and perks that you can obtain from Archaeology, it seems to be really interesting and useful as well. They're going to add brand new areas you can explore, they're going to add new items you can create and new rewards and perks. There is going to be a lot of new content to try out with this skill coming into the game, so that is my main reason for being excited about this skill. I am really hoping that it will be more of an interactive skill and some decent XP rates, so it isn't a skill you need to spend hours grinding in order to level it up, and hopefully it is at least somewhat enjoyable. It would be really disappointing if this is a grindy skill, a skill that a lot of people hate, like agility and runecrafting. So that would be really unfortunate, but I don't anticipate that it will be anything like that. I think this skill is going to be really enjoyable and add a lot of new things to the game. But overall, with everything I have seen about Archaeology, it looks like it should add a lot to the game and be a really polished skill. And since this skill was supposed to be released just in a few weeks, and it has been delayed of course, I would expect it to be released within the next few months, maybe even in February. So definitely expect to see this skill really soon, and for me, I am really excited about it. Now moving on, for my most anticipated update of 2020, it has to be the release of God Wars Dungeon 3. So for me, my favorite thing about RuneScape is its PvM and bossing aspects, and I'm sure a lot of you guys enjoy that the most about this game too. So just adding a brand new God Wars dungeon with 4 or 5 brand new bosses, this really does excite me. We all know with God Wars Dungeon 2, it was a big success, everyone loves it, and the content still is played today and still is relevant. So I really am expecting that this update will be really well received throughout the community, and just a lot of players will love it. This update was briefly introduced in RuneFest this year. They didn't say much about it because it was planned to be released in the late 2020, but I can almost guarantee that a lot of players are really excited for this update. Basically everyone loves bossing in RuneScape 3. And adding a whole new God Wars dungeon with the potential of 5 new bosses is really exciting. And of course, as I said, both God Wars Dungeon 1 and 2, they were really popular in its time and they still are used today. So adding brand new one would really go well. And also adding 5 new bosses to the game will also add many new unique drops. So most likely being new weapons and gear, and of course, this is really exciting as well. I know when God Wars Dungeon 2 came out, having the brand new tier 85 weaponry, that was really exciting to me. So having the potential of adding brand new weapons and unique drops into the game, of course, is really exciting. And with God Wars Dungeon 3, we can also expect a new high-level solo boss like Nex in God Wars Dungeon 1 and Telos in God Wars Dungeon 2. And for me, I really think these are some of the most fun bosses in the game. So adding another boss like this would of course make it really exciting, and a lot of players would just love this. So as someone who really enjoys PvM and bossing in RuneScape 3, I am sure that I will love this update and thoroughly enjoy fighting each of the new bosses and learning their mechanics and going for their unique drops and all that. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are really excited about this update as well, since most of the community does really do enjoy PvM and bossing. Anyway guys, those are my top 5 most anticipated updates in 2020, and it looks like we have a lot of really great updates coming, and it will be a really great year for RuneScape 3. Of course, we can expect Archaeology early into 2020. RuneScape Mobile should be available for iOS sometime in 2020, and of course we should get the new God Wars dungeon near the end of 2020. These are all really exciting updates, and most likely we will have many more that have not been announced in RuneFest, for example, so those updates could possibly be a construction rework or an addition of new Slayer creatures, so we'll just have to see what the year brings. And with that being said, I would like to know what you guys think and what your most anticipated updates of 2020 will be. So let me know in the comments down below what updates you are most looking forward to in 2020. And thank you guys for watching, and I really hope you did enjoy the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.